In week 1 of the preseason, the Las Vegas Raiders kind of scared me. I didn't see all of the good things that I saw and heard about from training camp. Both new and old players were shining, knowing they were part of the identity of the Pete Carroll-led Raiders. Then came the first preseason game and we didn't see any of that. They struggled with the Seattle Seahawks backups. Not many of their identifying factors were on display. Then came week 2 against the San Francisco 49ers and those identifying factors were on full display. It looked like the Raiders have a lot of their old identity back thanks to Carroll. Not every area of the team looked good on Saturday, but I saw enough to see that the Raiders are going to be fun to watch this year. Alright, first things first, the Raiders' first round pick, running back Ashton Genty, was picked at number 6 overall to become a major part of the identity of the Raider offense. Carroll has always been about running the football, and that ain't going to change anytime soon. So Genty came into camp and flashed right away and often. He showed his vision, his burst, his speed, his elusiveness, and his ability to catch the ball. He could do so from the backfield, out wide, or in the slot. He couldn't show his contact balance yet because there wasn't any tackling at that point. There was tons of excitement over him coming out of camp, the preseason opener, but he wasn't able to do much. He had 3 carries for -1 yard. Obviously, he wasn't going to get 30 carries for 210 yards in the preseason game, but you want to see him show more than he was able to show. Then week 2 of the preseason comes. The offensive line gives him a running start, and all the power and contact balance turned out to be the real deal. I wish he was more elusive in the preseason game, but he wasn't even trying to be. He was trying to establish his physicality. It was rough for him in the preseason opener because he'd make one guy miss in the backfield and 4 more guys would be right there to make the tackle. The offensive line took a big step forward Saturday, though. They came a long way since the preseason opener. Jordan Meredith is getting comfortable at center, and Jackson Powers Johnson is getting comfortable at right guard. With his size, power, and mean streak, you know Powers can handle the right guard spot. And since Meredith is handling the center position right now, the Raiders can put their best 5 out there on the offensive line. Meredith and Powers, along with Colton Miller at left tackle, Dylan Parham at left guard, and DJ Glaze at right tackle, give the Raiders an O-line that can batter and wear opposing defenses down in the running game. They protect the passer well, too. The Raider offensive line now looks like it's going to be a solid unit. I can't help but want to take a look at the Raider offensive line of the future, though. I believe as soon as next year, Laki Tasa will take over at right guard, Powers will go back to center, and the Raiders will have the biggest offensive line in the NFL. The unit is good as is, though. Along with Genty in the backfield and an offensive line that could do what their offensive line could do, the Raiders have passing game weapons. They have that old traditional Raider speed and athleticism, too. The Raiders are going to go deep, and they put that on display early and often against the 49ers. They didn't quite connect with Smith and speedster Dante Thornton, but they took a couple of shots with them to show that's what they want to do. Fellow speedster Trey Tucker will be lined up on the other side, so believe the Raiders are going to stretch the field. Even tight end Brock Bowers is going to stretch the field. Well, he'll be doing a little of everything because he's the Raiders' #1 receiver. He's not the only tight end the Raiders will have out there, though. It looks like they're going to target Michael Mayer, their true tight end, a lot more. He's had a good camp and made a nice catch Saturday. All of this is going to take away from Jacoby Myers' targets, but he's still going to be a factor. This is going to be a great passing attack, and they have every type of weapon they would need. Counting best, they have 2 possession receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 speedsters, and a running back that can catch the ball. Now we go over to the defense. The Raiders never did have that dream defensive line they were supposed to have. Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Adam Butler, and Christian Wilkins were supposed to terrorize opposing quarterbacks. Injuries derailed all that last year, though. Kuntz missed the whole season and Wilkins only played 5 games. Even Max Crosby missed 5 games. Now this year, everyone but Wilkins is healthy, and he's off the team now for being zesty. Never use a bar of zest when taking a shower. Zestiness cost Wilkins millions. We'll never know what the loss of Wilkins really cost the Raiders, though, because he wasn't available very much last year, but Crosby, Kuntz, and Butler are good enough to carry whoever gets put in there with them. Tyree Wilson looks like he could be a good one as a third down interior pass rusher. Jonah Laulu, Thomas Booker, and Tonka Hemingway are competing for that role, too. He hasn't been practicing or playing lately, but Leki Fotu is still the lead guy to be on the nose on rundowns. JJ Pegues looks like he can step in there for him while he's hurt. Now we take a look at how the Raiders are at the linebacker position. The funny thing is, it was considered a weakness for the Raiders not too long ago, particularly after they lost 2024 starters Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo. After seeing them in camp in week 2 of the preseason, I don't think there's anything to worry about. They loaded up at linebacker this offseason, and it resulted in something good. The Raiders signed Landon Roberts in free agency, and he's actually better than Spillane against the run. And guess what? Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham has made him passable in coverage, just like he did Spillane. I know you saw his physicality Saturday. He was bearing running backs, offensive linemen, whoever was put in front of him. Devin White has been a pleasant surprise, especially in coverage, and they got lucky and landed Jermaine Pratt in June. He's doing a little bit of everything, including getting after the quarterback on blitzes. If Saturday has anything to do with it, the Raiders are going to be pretty hard to run on this year. I just hope the linebackers hold up in coverage the way they have been. That'll be so good for the Raiders if they can. Now we move on to the secondary, where head coach Pete Carroll likes big, long press man corners and hard-hitting safeties that have a knack for getting the ball back for the offense. Well, so far we know the Raiders have the safeties. Free safety Isaiah Polamau picked off a pass in week 1 of the preseason, and strong safety Jeremy Chin picked one off Saturday. We haven't seen the big hits yet, but we know they're coming. Chin and Polamau are probably the hardest hitting duo in the NFL right now. The Raiders obviously don't have any problems at the safety position, but there are some concerns at the corner position. That's the position we're just going to have to keep on watching. Raider corners look good in training camp, but that was against receivers they know, plus they didn't see the offensive ones that much in practice from what I saw. I don't want to put too much on these little preseason games anyway. I haven't finished watching the film yet, but I started, and it seems like the Raiders were just laying back in the zone and keeping everything in front of them. I hope it was just that, but I have to question it because they gave up a lot of catches and didn't make any plays on the ball. Can you believe there was talk about Genty being a bust after a street carry for -yard performance against the Seahawks? The people that thought that probably never liked him in the first place. Well, I always have, and like what he did Saturday minus the collision with the linebacker. Save that for when it counts. You gotta love the Raider running game though. And off that, they can go down the field off play action to one of their speedy receivers or speedy tight end. The offensive line looks good too. On defense, I love the defensive line with Kuntz and Crosby, and it looks like guys are emerging on the interior to go along with Butler too. The linebackers and safeties also look ready. The questions are about the corners. Will they get it done? Thank you for watching. See you next time.